Lorna?
No. I saw Beryl today
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
at the rowing course.
Oh,
Doing
fancy.
well. Yeah.
Well, great stuff.
You're looking well.
Me?
Tony, yeah.
Oh, well, that's nice of you to say. That's booked me at no end.
You need to tilt your screen down a bit, Tony. We're getting that's better.
You want to see what's in the room, do you?
Want to see what shirt you've got on?
Yeah.
Have you got any trousers on, Tony?
Oh, well, that's for me to find out. I did another webinar this morning.
Ooh, what was that?
And it wasn't Zoom. It was a bit more.
Hello, Sue.
Was a bit more complicated.
What was it? You didn't use Zoom. You used...
It was at the Institute of Mechanical Engineers.
Ah, right.
And they've got shall we call it a professional setup. And, anyway, no, what I meant was, what I meant to say was, it's a bit more complicated than Zoom. Zoom is pretty straightforward, isn't it?
I think it's the best one I've seen. I did use another one. Use Microsoft Teams with the school governors.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And that I didn't like that at all. It was
no. Well, it took me a while to get into it. It was, you know, the software company. Is it Cisco?
Oh yes.
Well, it was one of their systems.
Right.
Yeah. So I felt a bit of a fool actually, with all these other learned people.
We're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one tomorrow. I've got an interesting one tomorrow. Are you familiar with the COVID monitoring system called SOE?
Called?
So SOE, it's run by King's College London, and you have to log in and tell them how you're feeling every day.
Yeah,
I do that.
yeah, I do that too.
Yes.
Well, tomorrow they do a webinar on where they are at the moment.
All right.
At 4 o'clock. I think it's at 4 o'clock tomorrow. So if you're in the scheme, it's 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Mm.
Got a different Zoom meeting then.
They have.
Tell me about it in Spanish next week, Tony.
Yeah.
Give us a report next week. They do. I look at their projections for Peterborough, and Peterborough's their projections are much higher than anybody else. I think they have assumed cases as well as confirmed cases, don't they? So
Yeah.
to be more accurate.
Yeah.
Yes. If
was a
you've got,
Big concern today.
temperature,
Oh, sorry, Lauren.
I was going to say, if you say that you don't feel normal today, and then they ask you all these questions, you say, yes, I've got a temperature. Yes, I've got a sore throat. They assume you've got COVID.
Oh, I see.
No, they sent you for a test. I've had a test
Yes.
today. Yeah, just to make sure. But mine wasn't sore throat. I think they were looking for non-classic symptoms.
Ah.
Is that the Zoe
Discovered.
app you're
Yes.
talking about, Lorna?
Zoe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right. Well, we're. I think everybody's here. We're just after past, so we'll get cracking. Welcome to those that have just joined. I don't think I greeted everybody as you came in. Tony was telling us a bit of a story. So.
Sorry.
No. So it's fine. It was a story. We this morning it was suggested that everybody mute themselves because we had a bit of feedback on the page in previous weeks. It seemed to work all right. It seemed to clean up the feed a little bit. I think it just needs somebody with a dodgy mic or dodgy speakers or a noisy dog, and which is probably me. We do seem to go. So if you want to try that, we can mute ourselves, and then what I'll do is ask you questions individually, and you can unmute yourself to answer the question, or you can do a Boris Johnson and pretend your audio feed's gone wrong, and if it's an awkward question, you can avoid answering it. And what I'm going to do today is go from the bottom upwards rather than the top downwards, because poor old Bryn, who seemed to be sitting near the door for the last few weeks, was grabbed first. Although we do seem to have changed our seating positions a little bit this week. I bet Bryn's down the bottom. No, he's not. No, he's not. So we'll get cracking. Let's begin. Let's get my PowerPoint somewhere near. So, buenas tardes, muchachos. Well, do you think that's an appropriate greeting? Muchachos. Muchachos and muchachas is a phrase, colloquial phrase, shall I say, that we perhaps use for young men, young ladies. So entirely appropriate to our group, I would think. ¿Qué es la fecha? Hoy es martes, el martes 24 de noviembre. El próximo martes es diciembre. Pronto será Navidad. No, Navidad se cancela. ¿O es eso? What do we think? Is Christmas going to be cancelled? I don't know. I think we get to find out today, don't we? How many households we can have, how many days we can mix together. Anyway, well, it's all up in the air. What have we got this week? ¿Qué tenemos esta semana? I'm going to do some more pronunciation work. I think there was a leap forward last week. Everybody's pronunciation seemed to improve, and I think it was just because we were concentrating on it a bit more. So we'll run through a few things, and then we'll take a look at our book, Crimen en Barcelona. We'll do our conversation with Nuria Alicia, see what's happening there. Yeah, I don't know, it's Nuria, isn't it, who's the art historian. She thinks she's found some Goyas in the flea market. We'll have some questions in Spanish, and then a quick look at homework, or I might do those the other way around, depending. I also put a piece about the word ya, la palabra ya, in or ja, depending which part of Spain you're from. I thought that was quite interesting, but it was a bit long to run through in class in an hour's lesson. So I sent it for you to read on the end of the lesson notes. So hopefully you'll find that useful, and we may take a look at that in a few weeks. Okay, so pronunciation. As I say, I think we did really well last week. There were a few things I think that we just need to pick up on. I was listening back to the video, and there were a few h sounds coming in. Don't forget the only h sound in Spanish is a J or a G. So watch those H's. When you see an H, don't sound it. We need an E sound for every I and a H sound for a G. So they were the main things, but it was massively better. Once or twice I heard you pronounce a word and you'd see it got several vowels. You'd get the first vowel right, but then the second would be sounded wrong. So historia was one. We'd got an e at the end. Historia, historia, and diviso, I think, was another one. Diviso. So it needs to be. If we got two sounds in there, we've got to get all the vowel sounds right in the word. So just look at that, and it was particularly obvious when we came to cognates, which are words that are the same in English and Spanish, or close cognates. And I think it's because the word, we look at the word and the word's very familiar to us. So computadora was one. It needs to be computadora. We've got to get that Peterborough oo sound in there. U sound, ooh. Human, what do they say in Peterborough? Human beings, don't they? And another cognate that threw us was original. I think there was so much concentration on the h sound in the middle. The two I's were sounded wrong. So it needs to be original. And obviously the stress is right at the end of that word, not on the penultimate syllable like most words. So these were words that I thought, well, let's get ahead of the game. So these words are all in chapters 9 and 10. I thought these are the sorts of words we were getting wrong last week. So maybe we'll have a little practice beforehand. So Julie, you're sitting furthest away from the door. If you could unmute yourself.
Yes.
Unmute is one of the words of the year in the Oxford
Yes.
Dictionary. It's one of those that's come in. I don't know how many there are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if you do down to Cuente,
Okay.
and just have a crack at sounding those words. Yeah.
Okay. Entrevistas, investigadora, exactamente, teléfono, muerte, cuente.
Excellent. Good. That's perfect. Apple, could you do the rest of them, please? If you unmute yourself and do the rest. Yeah, perfect.
Encuentran novedades en engañarnos.
Yeah, we've got an enye in the middle there, haven't we? Engañarnos.
Engañarnos.
Yeah. Now, of course, the word there is engañar, but we've got the pronoun hooked on the end, which so the stress would be on engañarnos, on the ña. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Natural, apresuremos.
Apresuremos. Yeah. Good. Perfect. So.
Eric, sorry. That last one, apresuremos. Is that right? Is the verb? Is it apresur? Mos.
Apresoramos.
Vamos.
Apresoremos, shouldn't it? Apresoremos.
Amos, yeah.
Apresoremos. Yeah. Good point. I probably typed that in wrong.
Because the pronunciation is correct for
Yeah. Apresoremos. Yeah. Change that to an E. I'm not on the. I'll change it in the. I'll change it in the notes. So well spotted. So last week we talked a bit about the nose rule when it's a little rule that Michel Thomas is very fond of for telling us where the stress should come in a word, and all of the words above don't. Well, all of them follow it except one. There's one exception. Can we tell which one that is? It's exactamente, and it's a bit of a funny word. There's always an exception to the rule. Is that what they say? Yeah. Well, this is it. And there's this little piece here from Spanish Dict, not Disct, as I've typed. Oh, my typing's terrible this week, isn't it? SpanishDict.com. So when you get an adverb ending in mente, the word takes two stresses, and it's the only Spanish word that does take two stresses. One's on the first syllable of mente, and whatever syllable will be stressed in the feminine form of the adjective. So effectively, probably treat it as two words is the easiest thing. Exactamente. So it should have a stress on the A and probably on the E as well, but you'll never see it written like that. Spanish speakers are just expected to know that that's the rule. So it's a bit of an odd one. There's the exception that proves the rule, if you like. Okay, so we'll press on with our reading then. This we might change it a little bit next week. So instead of reading our book, we'll do something else. We'll just talk about the book, but it is useful for practicing our spoken Spanish and our pronunciation. But maybe we can find some other ways to do that. Beryl, would you be okay to read on page 17 the first chunky paragraph of that? All right.
Capítulo 9. Son las 11:11 de la tarde y Miguel está acostado en su cama. Hoy fue un día muy largo. Lo único que quiere hacer ahora es olvidar todo y dormir. Su cabeza da vueltas a las entrevistas que hizo durante la mañana y la tarde. También piensa en Ana, la investigadora que conoció hace unos días. Desde el primer momento le pareció muy atractiva. No le preguntó la edad, pero calcula que debe tener unos 41 años. Es exactamente como le gustan a él, delgada y de ojos verdes. Okay.
Thank you, Beryl. Rona, do you fancy doing a translation on that first part? You happy to do that? Thank you.
Okay. At 11:11 p.m., Mikhail is lying in his bed. Today was a very long day. All he wants to do now is to forget everything and sleep. His head spins with the interviews he did during the morning and afternoon. He also thinks of Anna, the investigator that he has met a few days ago. From the first moment, she seemed very attractive. I don't worry about her age. I estimate she must be about 40 years. It's exactly how he likes them. Thin and with green eyes.
Yes, indeed. Right. I don't know. Who've we got next? We've got Jill. How's the reception in southern Italy, Jill? Are you able to hear us okay? Are you muted, Jill, or I think you're muted at the moment?
Okay, I was just having a bit of trouble finding out how to unmute.
That doobie button, yeah, I know, yeah. It throws us, doesn't it? Are you okay to read the and to the end of the page, to the end of the chapter?
Okay. A las 11:46 por la tarde, suena su teléfono celular. Estira el brazo para tomar el teléfono y escucha una voz familiar. Es Lina. Hola, Miguel. ¿Cómo está? Soy Lina, la esposa de Felipe de Alex. Sí, Lina, es muy tarde. ¿Es algo urgente? ¿Podemos hablar mañana? Perdón, Miguel, es algo muy breve. Solo quiero decirle que estoy aquí para ayudarle. Haré todo lo posible para que se aclare la muerte de Felipe. Solo quería que sepa eso. Cuente conmigo para lo que necesite. Buenas noches.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Suzanne, are you feeling better? Are you
Yes, thank you. I'm okay.
How's the voice? Is the voice okay?
It's fine.
Yeah. Would you be able to translate that for us, please?
Okay. At 11:46 at night, his phone rings. He stretches the arm to take the telephone and listen to a familiar voice. It's Lina. Hello, Miguel. How are you? I am Lina, Felipe de Alaires' wife. Yes, Lina, it's very late. Is it something urgent? Can we talk tomorrow? I'm sorry, Miguel, or excuse me, Miguel. It's is it brief?
Yeah, something brief, yeah.
I only want to tell you that I am here to help you.
Yep.
I will do everything possible to clear up.
Clear up. Yeah.
I only want to know that. I only want you to know that. Count on me for what you need. Good night.
Yeah. Great. When she says soy Lina, it's that in Spanish they do say soy Eric or soy yo. meaning not I am Eric, which is the literal translation, but they use it to say it's Eric or it's me. They should really say es Lina, shouldn't they? It is Lina, but they say soy Lina, and I don't know why. It's just what they say. We can't do anything about it, so we just have to put up with it. Well done. That's great. Late night phone call from Lena. Oh, the plot is starting to thicken. So still going up, we've got Giselle. Giselle, would you be able to read that first paragraph for us on page 19?
Okay. El viernes por la tarde, Ana y Miguel se encuentran en un bar. Necesitan hablar sobre las últimas novedades del caso. Miguel pide un café corto y Ana un té con limón. Se sientan en una mesa contra la pared, alejado del resto. Después de una semana de trabajo, ya tiene decenas de entrevistas de empleados de Alieres Aerolíneas. También tienen el testimonio de los familiares y personas más cercanas a Felipe. Pero aún no empezaron a investigar. Primero deben esperar los resultados de la autopsia. Así sabrán si Felipe tuvo una muerte natural o si fue un crimen.
Good. Perfect. Perfect. John, are you up for a translation?
On Friday in the afternoon, Anna and Miguel met in a bar. They needed to talk about the latest news on the case. Miguel asked for an espresso and Anna for a lemon tea. They sat at a table. I'm not sure, La Parade, then away from the rest.
Parade. Wall. So
Sorry?
Against the wall.
Oh, against the wall, right.
Yeah.
Okay, away from the rest. After a week of work, they had done dozens of interviews of employees of Alaris Airlines. Also, they had the testimonies of the relatives and the people closest to Felipe.
Yeah.
But they couldn't start to investigate. First, they'll have to wait on the results of the autopsy.
Mm-hmm. So we're going into future tense here. Así sabrán. So they will know.
Sorry, Eric.
So sabrán is the future tense of saber. So así so.
Then they would know.
They will know.
Yeah, if Felipe had a natural death or if it was a crime.
Yeah, if it was a crime. Yeah, good, jolly good. Thanks, John. Now who we got to finish us off? You're all jumping around here. Who've Sue Gockle? Would you read that last bit there for us?
That's probably me. Susan, not Sue.
Susan, sorry. Susan. Okay, fine. I couldn't see you, Susan. I could just see a little bit of clothing
Yeah.
on your ceiling.
Miguel, ¿qué piensas de Lina? Pregunta Ana. Me parece bastante guapa. No seas tonto. Ya sabes de lo que hablo. ¿Crees que puede tener algo que ver con la muerte? ¿Cómo sábalo? Era la esposa de Felipe y ahora se muestra preocupada. Parece quiere ayudarnos, pero eso no nos dice mucho. Puede estar intentando engañarnos. Igualmente, aún no sabemos si fue un crimen. Tal vez fue simplemente muerte natural. No nos apreciaremos.
Thank you. And we got a bit out of order in here, but we've got Carl there. Are you okay for the translation there, Carl?
I'll have a go. Miguel, what do you think of Lina? Asked Anna. I think she's very lovely. No, don't be silly. You know what I'm talking about. Do you think she could have anything to do with the death? How would we know? She's the wife of Philip, and now she is worried.
Yeah.
She seems to want to help, but who knows? But you don't know much. She doesn't know much. Doesn't say much. Oh, that doesn't say much.
Yeah.
But that doesn't say much. Don't know what enconaros.
Intending to.
Is she planning to trick us, to deceive us?
Yeah, she could be.
We don't know yet if it's even a crime.
Yeah.
It could just be a natural death.
Mm-hmm.
So no pressure.
No
pressure. No pressure. We don't want pressure.
To hurry. We mustn't rush.
No, we mustn't rush.
Yeah.
No rush though.
We mustn't rush this. So bastante doesn't mean very. It means quite.
Okay.
So
quite pretty.
Guapa is quite. I think she's quite sexy. And se muestra preocupada. Muestra is from the verb mostrar, to show. So I think we'd say that she looks, in English we'd probably say she looks worried. She appears to be worried, maybe you'd say in English. Good. Okay. So there we are. Next chapter, I think it starts to get the plot thickens, chapters 11 and 12. So we'll read those for next week if that's okay with everybody. And I just want to take a look at a few things that appeared in the chapter. So last week we had the word iMac, or should it be EMAC? I wondered if they'd say iMac because it's a brand. So I asked Lucia, and she's helpfully, she says, oh, we say it both ways. So basically, choose the one that you like. So I'll stick with iMac.
See, in French, Eric, in France, they say Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, yes, yeah.
So I imagine this is in Spain, IMAC.
EMAC, yeah. Well, they also say iMac apparently, so either one is fine. So it was good to see Loke appearing again. We did that. We did that a few times. We did the word, I think, in the first lesson of this latest term. So it's good to see it keeps popping up. Now then, on page 17, I do find Spanish a bit confusing sometimes. So on page 17, there were two phrases. Acostado en su cama, lying in his bed. Estira el brazo, stretches out his arm. So in English, we'd say, we'd use the possessive pronoun his. In both cases, we'd say he stretched out his arm. He was lying in his bed. The Spanish use the definite object, the for body parts, definite article, the for body parts. If you ask why, they say, well, whose arm would he stretch out if it's not his arm? It's obviously his arm, so they just say el brazo, and that's fine. But then, who else's bed would he be sleeping in if he wasn't lying in his bed? Well, I suppose it could be a number of people's beds, so perhaps that's the explanation. But it is a bit weird, and for students of Spanish, learning these subtle little differences is a bit tricky. I think it is anyway. The author is started to throw in some future tense. Are was used. Where was that used? I will haré todo lo posible. I will do everything's possible. Also sabrán, will know. She said, what did she say? She said, así sabrán si Felipe tuvo una muerte natural o si fue un crimen. So they need to wait for the results of the autopsy, so they will know. Again, future tense. Now, we've not done a great deal of future tense. When we use it, we tend to create the future tense by using the verb ir. So, sometimes you can't do that, or it sounds clumsy. It sounds clumsy if you try to do it. So we will need to do a bit of future tense. So quite useful to start throwing them in there. Are is quite a useful one. I will do. So that's worth just sticking that in the old head if you can, and keeping it there, of course. A useful phrase is exactamente como le gustan a él. It's exactly how he likes them. Talking about the opposite sex. How would you say su gokul? How would you say it's exactly how she likes them? You need to unmute yourself. Sorry.
Es exactamente como le gustan a ella.
That's Susan Little again. We've got Sue Gockel.
Sorry.
Sue Gockel is struggling to unmute yourself. Yeah. No. ¿No lo puedes?
Sí.
Ah, muy bien.
Es exactamente como le gustan a Elia.
Ella. Yeah, exactly.
Ella?
Yeah, ella.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or ella if you're in Latin America. Perfect. And Linda Broughton, es exactamente como le gustan a él. It's exactly how he likes them. How would you say it's exactly how he likes it?
Es exactamente como le gustan a él, but no accent on the E of L.
No.
Oh, I've got it completely wrong.
It's pretty gusta it. So le gusta a él, it is pleasing to him. Le gustan a él, they are pleasing to him. So it's this old construction of me gusta, it pleases me. Me gustan, they please me. So to make it singular, you just have to change the word gustan to gusta. Es exactamente como le gusta a él. So that's how you do that. Another phrase to disentangle: solo quería que sepa eso. I only wanted you to know that. We'd say I just wanted you to know that, wouldn't we? We wouldn't say I only wanted you to know. I just wanted you to know that. And querer is used in the imperfect. So that's the right tense. It's a past tense. I just wanted. So it's an action without a definite end and no specific time. So the imperfect tense is used in Spanish. And saber is used in the subjunctive because it's a wish or a desire. So she goes sepa. She says sepa. Quería que sepa. Wanted you to know that. Que sepa eso, of course. So don't forget when we're talking of wishes, desires, hopes, it's one of the triggers for dropping into the subjunctive. And she says sepa because she's addressing him in the formal rather than sepas, which it would be if it was informal. Now, I know you all love your tenses, and there are a lot of tenses to learn to love in Spanish, aren't there? In chapter 10, quite interestingly, the author uses the present tense to talk about things that have happened in the very recent past. So she talks about Miguel, Anna and Miguel, they meet in a bar. They need to speak about the latest news of the case. Miguel orders a cafe, what's a black coffee, isn't it? What, espresso? Cafe corto, it's an espresso. See? And Anna, a lemon tea. They sit at a table against the wall. So he's used, these things have all obviously happened, but he's using the author's using the present tense to describe them, and that's perfectly okay. We do that in English as well, and I think it's a popular trick among authors, just because it adds a little urgency and anticipation to the writing. It makes us sit up and we're waiting for the next thing to happen. There was a nice phrase, "No seas tonto," when he starts talking about Lena being, oh, what do you think of Lena? Oh, she's a bit sexy. Don't be silly. No seas tonto. So that's one I'm definitely going to remember for when my grandchildren come back, probably in March. So I'm going to have to keep it in my head a little while, but that will be a useful phrase to lecture them. And talking about Lena, they say, oh, we sort of covered this in the text, se muestra preocupada. She's worried, but they use conjugation of mostrar, to show, not estar, to be. So instead of saying se está preocupada, they use se muestra preocupada. She shows that she's worried, or we'd probably say she looks worried, she appears to be worried. If you wanted to say he is worried, él se muestra preocupado, but it's also fine to say él está preocupado. You can use the verb estar perfectly well. The difference would be he is worried, or he appears to be worried. He looks worried. Quite an easy distinction to make. So, any questions about the text, or any points you want to raise about the text? We'll move on to our conversations in simple Spanish then, if you like. No questions. Good. So, conversación en español. Capítulo 6. ¿Cómo llegaron aquí? How did that get here? So, Nuria y Alicia le muestran a Rodolfo García los dibujos que han encontrado en su tienda, y Nuria le explica que cree que los dibujos son originales de Goya. Lo que necesitamos es 3 actores para las partes de Nuria, Alicia y Rodolfo Garcia. So, who haven't we had yet? We've not had Maggie. Prima vesi. Would you, Maggie, can you be Nuria?
Okay, yeah.
And we've not had Lorna, have we yet? No. Lorna, would you be Alicia?
See?
And Ken? We find you in the end, Ken. Whoops. If you would be a Rodolfo Garcia, is that okay?
Sí.
Muy bien. Empecemos. Are you good? Are you good to go, Ken?
Yes, I'm good. Go.
I
Oh,
thought
sorry.
I'd unmuted. Am I muted or not?
No, you're not.
Sorry, I missed the point.
Yeah.
Dices que
I'm sorry.
hizo estos dibujos.
Sí, estoy casi segura. Yo soy historiadora del arte. Conozco las obras de Goya. Conozco sus pinturas Jesus dibujos. Estos dibujos son de Goya. De
No,
Goya. Son de Goya.
no lo puedo creer.
¿Qué hacen aquí? ¿Cómo llegaron?
No lo sé. Mucha gente trae obras. Obras. Yo las compro y luego las vendo a los visitantes. Visitantes.
¿Recuerdo quién trajo estos dibujos?
Sí, creo que fue un hombre. No recuerdo bien su rostro.
¿Cuándo llegaron estos dibujos a la tienda?
Esta mañana, hace un rato.
¿Piensa que los dibujos son robados?
Es probable. Probable, sorry.
Probable, sí, probable.
Probable. Yeah, probable. Es probable.
See, that's it. That's the we managed to get to the end. So how did they get here? So Nuria and Alicia show to Rodolfo Garcia the drawings that they have found in his shop, and Nuria explains that she thinks the drawings are original Goya's. I think I'd just give him €100 for them and get the reward. However, she's that would spoil the story, wouldn't it? Jane, how are you? Could we? I think most of us are okay with this. We get this, don't we? Jane, do you find it relatively easy to translate without thinking too hard about it? You're still on mute. There we go.
Yes, not too difficult. Just the odd word, really, that I don't.
Yeah, that's that. But you've got the meaning of it. You think? Yeah. Do you want? Don't worry about word for word. Do you just want to read us through what's happening, and then we'll check that.
So, are you saying that Goya? That these are Goya drawings?
Yeah.
Yes, I am pretty sure. I'm a historian of art. I know the work of Goya or something like that.
Yeah.
I know his paintings and his drawings, and these are from Goya. I don't believe it. What have we here? How can this be, or something?
Que hacen aquí? How did they make it here? I guess. Yeah.
Oh, how did they get here? I suppose yes.
How did they make it?
How? Can't remember what you guys. How?
Well, yeah, guys, to carry or to arrive. So.
Oh, how did they come here?
How did they arrive? Yeah.
I don't know. Many people.
Bring things.
Oh, bring things, right. I understand them and sell to lots of visitors.
Yeah, I buy and then I sell.
And sell to lots of visitors.
Yeah.
Recording what work?
Yeah, recordar. It's a stem changing verb. So recuerda is you remember. So she said.
Do you remember what? Who brought these drawings? Yes, I believe that it was a man. I didn't record his
Rostro, his face.
Oh, I don't remember his face.
Don't remember his face very well. Yeah.
When? Something about did he bring these drawings to the shop?
When were they brought to the shop? Yeah.
This morning. I didn't know what ratto was this morning.
Yeah, I say ratto, it just means a little while ago.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, this morning, a little while ago.
Yeah.
I think that these drawings are stolen.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think?
Oh, do you think that these drawings are stolen? Yeah. And he said it's possible.
It's possible, yeah.
Or probable. Or likely.
Yeah, could be, I suppose we'd say. Give him the benefit of the doubt. He's obviously, what do they call it? He's the fence. Do they call it a fence? Somebody.
Yeah, he's the middleman.
The middleman, yeah. He's doing that. So we're moving on slowly but surely with this. I think I don't want you to worry about translating this word for word or perfectly, because even if you mistranslate a few words, you're getting the gist of it, which is what we're really aiming for here, rather than perfect pronunciation. Tend to use the other book to try and refine our grammar, but I like this one really just so you can hear some Spanish and listen to it and get the meaning right in your head, which is good. It's exactly what we want. So conversation and revision. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're always running out of time here. So still trying to hammer home some preterite of regular and irregular verbs. This is our verb table showing us how we conjugate regular verbs in the preterite, and there's this whole long list of irregular verbs where the rules change, so we have to just know them, really, annoyingly, which is a bit of a nuisance, but there we go. So we did a few last week. We did some questions last week, and you all did pretty well, actually. I said, fuiste al supermercado esta semana? And some people had, some people hadn't. I asked you, a qué supermercado fuiste? And the answer came back, Waitrose, of course, because you're all canny shoppers, and you like your quality, and your free parking probably. Sadly, I shop at the Co-op, but I do get free parking, and they email me special deals every week. This one fell a bit flat, really. ¿Qué preparaste para cenar anoche? And nobody would own up to having prepared anything for dinner the previous night, except one person who said, I think they made some fish. Then I asked, ¿Te fuiste de vacaciones este año? Did you go on holiday this year? The answer was pretty much no. Well, in March, I went to France to do a bit of skiing, but they closed the resort. They closed the ski centre because of COVID. Somebody said que pena. And yeah, it was a pity, especially after driving 700 miles and forking out 70 quid for the auto routes. It was a pity. But I may have said something a little bit stronger at the time. So let's just bring up the irregular verbs then. Now we've used the imperfect a little bit. So I'm going to try something in the imperfect, and I've gone right through my list of people. I think everybody's had a go. Oh, Shanta hasn't had a go there. So Shanta, are you able to unmute yourself? Thank you. Cuando eras joven, ¿cuál era tu comida favorita? Cuando eras
Cuando, cuando era,
eras joven.
no, cuando fui joven,
Yeah.
comida, mi favorito fue masala dosa.
Masala dosa.
Ya, masala dosa es una pancake con verdura y patatas. Potato con spices. ¿Qué palabra para spices en español, por favor?
Spices. What did I say for spices? I do know this, but it's
It's picante, isn't it?
It's what? Sorry.
Picante, spicy. If something.
Picante is spicy. Yeah.
De pieces. La especia.
Especias. Yeah. Especias.
Yeah.
Especias.
Es una pancake con batate con especios.
Good. Right. I wasn't expecting one of those. Don't forget, when we're talking about things that we've done in the past, we would use the imperfect, not the present. So not we'd use you know,
Estaba.
Yeah. And or you could say me gustaba. I used to like, or you can use soler to used to. So you could say me solía gustar. Use gustar in the infinitive. I used to like, or me gustaba again. I liked. I used to like. Me gustaba el spam y las patatas fritas.
Las patatas
We used to have that every Tuesday, didn't we, Maggie?
Todo matters.
Todos los martes, sí.
Todos los matters.
Bryn, el sábado por la noche, ¿viste Strictly?
Sábado de la noche. Pardon, sábado de la noche. I think you just said Saturday night.
Yeah, el sábado por la noche, on Saturday night.
Yeah.
¿Viste Strictly? Did you see?
Sí. Get me out of here. I'm a celebrity.
Yeah, how would we say I'm a celebrity?
Soy un
well, let's
importante.
Una persona más importante.
Importante persona.
Yeah. Okay.
Encuentro Muy aburrido.
Encuentra muy.
Muy aburrido.
Yeah. You find it very boring.
Sí, exacto.
Is that you find Strictly boring, or I'm a Celebrity?
Yeah.
Okay, we're running past time here. So did we do the listening exercise? You can unmute yourselves if you like. We don't need to be muted now. So did everybody take a look at the listening exercise from Why Not Spanish? It was how to make a empanada.
Empanadas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite
yeah, it's quite difficult, but we had to go.
yeah. Did you slow it down?
Very much so.
Yeah, you slow it down to 75%.
And watched it several times with and without subtitles.
Yeah. So you certainly got the gist of it, I would have thought.
Yeah. By the third time.
Yeah, okay. It was a bit of a cookery class. I thought you did a pretty good job of the empanadas, and Latin Americans really love them. My daughter-in-law Lucia, she made them one Easter 3 or 4 years ago. And I quite liked them. Cody, they used something called cebolla larga. Now, what do they? They look like spring onions to me. What we call spring onions, don't they?
Yeah.
But in Ecuador, we went to one of the markets one day, my son and I, and they had piles and piles of these onions sitting there waiting to be sold, and they weren't like these. They were a sort of long leek. Like I say, there were piles and piles of them, and Tom said that you don't really get white onions like we do here, Spanish onions. They use these things. They look a bit like leeks. They give a much milder taste. You may find those if you go to Latin America. You may not even realize you're eating them. I thought let's continue with a few more of these listening exercises. So for this week, I've sent round, and I'll send a reminder round of a link to another video. It's set on a cruise ship. Quite a few of you have had enjoy your cruises, and so this may bring back some happy memories for you of when we could go cruising. As usual, go to settings, 75%. Listen to it and see how you get on. So we'll do that. And we've also got La Palabra Ya and a little essay on that from a blog. Thank you very much, everybody.
Gracias, Eric.
I hope that was useful.
Bye-bye.
I missed Mangala off the. We didn't choose you for anything, Mangala. Well, how are you managing to keep your head down? That was.
You didn't call me.
I didn't see you. Must have been popping around. I'll make sure that you're the first.
I'll remember that.
Okay. Well,
Thank you, Eric.
See you all next week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Todos.
Have a good week. Ciao.
Adios.
Ciao.
Adios.
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 Ciao. Ciao.
Adios. Hasta luego.
Hasta el martes. Nos vemos el martes.
Everybody, I only just emailed Hillary. I didn't do it